Hello and welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into a story that's as gripping as it is complex. The recent reports surrounding R. Kelly, the once celebrated R&B singer, now serving a 30-year sentence, and the shocking allegations that have emerged from behind prison walls. We're unpacking a tale of an alleged overdose, a claimed murder plot, and the broader questions it raises about the justice system. So, grab a seat, let's get into it, and learn something fascinating along the way. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notifications so that you can get notified each and every time we drop. Let's start with the basics. R. Kelly, whose real name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, has been a household name for decades, known for hits like I Believe I Can Fly. But his legacy took a dark turn with allegations of sexual misconduct stretching back to the 1990s. Many involving minors. The 2019 documentary Surviving R. Kelly brought these claims into sharp focus, leading to his convictions in 2021 for racketeering and sex trafficking in Brooklyn, and in 2022 for child sexual abuse in Chicago. That's how he ended up at FCI Butner Medium I in North Carolina, serving a hefty 30-year sentence. His case has sparked debates about race, power in entertainment, and how the legal system handles high-profile figures, making this latest chapter all the more intriguing. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. On June 13, 2025, news broke that Kelly, who had been placed in solitary confinement just 3 days earlier on June 10, collapsed in his cell. Reports suggest he was given extra medication on June 12, which led to an overdose serious enough to send him to Duke University Hospital. Doctors there found the dosage could have been fatal, and he was under observation for 2 days. This raises immediate red flags about prison medical care. Solitary confinement is already known for its harsh psychological impact. Studies show it can lead to anxiety, depression, and even hallucinations, so adding a potentially lethal medication mix-up is a serious concern. Sources like All Hip Hop and The Source have detailed this incident, pointing to possible negligence by prison staff. But the story doesn't stop there. It takes a dramatic twist. Kelly's attorney, Bo Brindley, filed an emergency motion on June 10, claiming there's a plot to kill his client inside prison. According to filings cited by The Guardian and Variety, 3 Bureau of Prisons officials allegedly recruited McKeel Glenn Stein, a terminally ill member of the Aryan Brotherhood, to carry out the hit. Shockingly, Stein tipped off Kelly instead, and the plot allegedly involves another gang member tasked with killing both Kelly and Stein, with more Aryan Brotherhood members present at the facility. This is a wild accusation, blending organized crime with prison authority, but as of today, the Bureau of Prisons hasn't confirmed any of it. That lack of official word leaves us in a space of speculation, which is where the story gets juicy but also tricky to navigate. Let's break this down educationally for a moment. The Aryan Brotherhood is a notorious white supremacist prison gang, known for its violent history and strict hierarchy. If true, their involvement could suggest a targeted attack, possibly fueled by Kelly's high-profile status or his legal battles. Prison plots aren't unheard of. History shows cases like the 1983 murder of a witness in a federal case, but they're hard to prove without solid evidence. The claim that prison officials orchestrated this adds another layer, hinting at corruption or vendettas within the system. This is where we need to think critically. Without confirmation, we're dealing with allegations that could be a legal strategy to seek leniency, given Kelly's dire situation. The public reaction, as you might imagine, is split. On one hand, prison reform advocates might see this as a glaring example of systemic failure, poor medical oversight, and potential inmate endangerment. Reports from Hindustan Times and Sportskeeda highlight how solitary confinement and medication errors could point to broader issues. On the other hand, given Kelly's convictions for serious crimes, some might dismiss these claims as a desperate bid for sympathy or a delay tactic. Social media, especially posts on X like the one from Flacco Poetic with its sensational headline, amplifies this divide, often mixing fact with hype. It's a reminder of how platforms can shape narratives, sometimes blurring the line between truth and speculation. Legally, this emergency motion for home detention is a bold move. If granted, Kelly would swap prison for house arrest, a rare outcome for someone with his charges. But the court is unlikely to bite without hard evidence of the plot, especially given the gravity of his past convictions. His legal team's history of challenging prison conditions, like past claims of leaked communications, might lend some credibility, but it's an uphill battle. This could lead to deeper investigations into FCI Butner, shedding light on how high-profile inmates are managed. Zooming out, this incident shines a spotlight on the U.S. prison system. Solitary confinement's effects are well documented. Research from organizations like the American Psychological Association shows it can cause long-term mental health damage. An overdose in that context suggests a breakdown in care. If the plot claims hold water, it's a failure to protect inmates, regardless of their crimes, and could spark calls for reform on transparency and safety. High-profile cases like this often become catalysts for change, much like the attention on prison conditions after cases like Kalief Browder's in the early 2010s. To organize our thoughts, let's look at the timeline. The motion was filed June 10. Kelly entered solitary that day, received extra medication on June 12, overdosed on June 13, and was hospitalized. News reports from June 17, like those from All Hip Hop and the Jasmine brand, align on the overdose, while older filings from June 10 to 12, like those in Variety and USA Today, focus on the plot. This consistency on the overdose contrasts with the unverified plot claims, showing where the evidence stands as of now. So, what's the takeaway? This story is a roller coaster of an alleged overdose and a claimed murder plot set against Kelly's controversial past. The overdose seems substantiated by multiple sources, but the plot remains unconfirmed, leaving room for investigation. It's a case that challenges us to think about prison safety, inmate rights, and the public's divided lens on justice. As this unfolds, it might just push the needle on how we view and reform our correctional systems. Stay tuned, because this is one story that's far from over. That's all for now. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Got thoughts? Let's keep the conversation going.